Today I'm going to talk about the second of the trilogy that we made for Doordarshan, for Lok Seva Sanchar in the 80s. It was 1986, I think, when it was released on Independence Day. It's well known. It's the second anthem of the country. It's called Mile Sur Mera Tumhara.
मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा.
We had a very, very successful emotional response to the first we made for this series. And so, of course, we were asked once more to do it for the subsequent year. We thought, let's use icons from music, from films, and again shoot something which takes you pan-India across the country so that project the whole nation as one. So I thought to myself, who is the best musical icon in this country? And decided on the late Bhimsen Joshi. The first step, of course, was to get a set of lyrics. So we went to Sharma, who was writing all the ads those days for all the agencies. He had written iconic stuff like Tandurusti Ki Raksha Karta Hai, Lifebuoy, and Nirma, and so many more, which still live on. We briefed him and we asked him to do this for us. So over the week, over many glasses of whiskey, he got back to us line by line, which we gradually approved. These 4 or 5 lines, which we zeroed in upon. So we gave Bhimsen Joshi ji these lyrics and we asked him to compose it for us into a tune in whatever rendition he wanted. When he was ready, he called up. I booked the studio, and being a classical singer, he sang it for 40 minutes uninterrupted, without any retakes, which I sat down in the studio after that and cut down to 40 seconds. I had to take the essential parts of it, the basic tune and just a little bit of the improvisation. I had to make sure all the lyrics were in without too many repeats.
सुर की नदियाँ हर दिशा से बह के सागर में मिले.
Once he was done, we were speechless. There was nothing we could say. We thanked him, took some pictures, and he left. And I must tell you something about Bhimsen Joshi. Many years later, when the film was released and I met him again, he told me, he said, I was only known in India of people who appreciate classical music. Today, I am recognized by children on the street thanks to this film.
बादलों का रूप लेकर बरसे हल्के हल्के.
We took this recording and we said this is going to be our starting point. We gave it to a composer who is no more and who was expert in regional tunes. His name was Vaidyanathan. We are used to doing all our ads in at least 14 languages. And we handed over these 14 language lyrics to Vaidyanathan to do in each language with the particular flavor of each state. He did his little pieces in male and female voices. And once we had that, we said now we can travel and use these tracks as playback and get people to sing it all over the country. Louis Banks was a major factor in this composition. He was involved in bridging all these pieces together once the film was done. And his job was to put in the choruses, put in the anthem feel, put in the arrangement that made it what it made it. We had asked each person to do the music in a certain key. And that worked because it was much easier to bridge it together. In fact, Bhimsen Joshi ji's piece we gave to Bal Murali Krishna, and he was the epitome of Carnatic music. And that's a lovely story because he came to the studio that morning in Chennai and he had already composed this piece. But along with him came Kamla Hassan. He told me, he said, I'm his shagird and I'd love to be in this film. So we were so thrilled. I said, yes, of course, you should be in this film. We are shooting again at Mahabalipuram this evening. So please come with him. We had a few celebrities from Chennai listening to him. We had Revati there, we had the Krishnans there, we had quite a few, and of course there was Kamla Hassan. When Bal Murali Krishna sang, it was almost as if the ocean was listening to him. In fact, if you look at the last line of the song, one wave crashes exactly in sync with the ending. That was beautiful. We set a schedule to shoot this film. Again in July, the month before the Independence Day, it was supposed to be released in. Lata Mangeshkar ji was not in the country when we needed her for this film. I remember having gone and met her personally, and she said, of course, she'll do it, but then she was off on concert somewhere abroad, and it was getting very close to the date that we were supposed to release it. Everything was ready except her. I didn't really think she would ever be in the film. But then she came back just a few days before Independence Day. Her bit was dubbed by Kavita Krishnamurthy. So we said, okay, let's quickly get Lata Mangeshkar ji into the studio. She had a pilot track. She wore that lovely sari with the tricolor pallu on it, and that was her own idea. And she came on the mic. We shot it while she was recording, and in about half an hour, she had given the whole tune a completely new flavor of her own. Sharmila, we took to the Delhi Zoo, shot her right near a lake. It's a very lovely location. Vahidaji was in Bangalore. We shot her at a farm there, remember? And Hemaji just happened to be in Film City one day when we were shooting there. I went and requested her. While shooting, Hemaji told me that this film cannot be as good as your first film. That was brilliant. But because it was so nice, I'm going to shoot this for you. Tanuja ji also was a friend. We wanted a Maharashtrian icon for this. She dressed up in Lavani. We had the Lavani dancers around her. And we shot it at Chapati Beach one early morning, I remember, before the crowds came in. Shabana asked me, agreed to do it. She was in college. When I knew her from there, she said, yeah, I loved your first film. I'm going to do it for you. I remember going to meet her at Film City. We shot her, a top star, a very iconic star at that time. The day we were in Film City, we saw that there was a shooting of Tamas going on. Tamas was at that time a very, very iconic program on Doordarshan. It was one of the early programs on partition, which was brutally frank and honest. And of course, it had to do with integration because it was all about Hindus and Muslims during partition. And so we shot the crew of Tamas, just improvised it. We met them there, we made them sit down on their lunch break, played the track, all lovely people. In those days, getting Amitabh, Jitendra and Mithun was not easy. To get them together at the same time, they were all three very, very busy artists. But Amitabh ji has always been very nice to me and has never said no. Requested him and he came on, he gave me a time. Jitendra has worked with my father in his first film. He also was very nice, didn't refuse. Mithun was an old friend. We had a mutual respect for each other. So he came on as well. They all came in from different directions into Mehboob Studios one morning. They got themselves ready, and in just 15 or 20 minutes, the shot was done, and they all went off to their busy days of shooting. I think that, again, that combination was magical, and that's one of the most memorable shots of the film. Narendra Hirwani was one of the few Sindhi sports people that we knew. Those days, he was playing great cricket. We requested him, and of course, he did it. Prakash Padukone had already shot with in the first film. He was in Bangalore, living with his family, so we got him to shoot it as well. I remember Deepika telling me that she used to wait for his part in both these films when she was young, when she used to come home from school because they used to play regularly on Doordarshan. She used to love the films and love to see her dad in it. Apart from that, there was Mario, who was again no more. Mario was a very famous cartoonist in India. We shot him in Goa. He sketched for us on the spot a little scene on the beach. We went to Kashmir and we shot the playback with this TV announcer in the Shikara as a Shikara wala. We also went up to one of the icy areas over there, to the glacier, I think in Sonmarg. That was quite a trek, but we went up there, we shot a few Kashmiris just around a fire for atmosphere. In Punjab, we just put a bunch of our friends into the tractor. The Punjabi piece was sung by Suresh Mallick's sister and quickly shot the scene while we were doing some sequences in the north in a field near Chandigarh. One very lovely shot we got was an aerial shot of the Taj Mahal. We got it thanks to Air Vice Marshal that we knew, and he gave us the helicopter. Those days there were no drones. And also, you weren't allowed to fly a helicopter or a drone over the monument. But he agreed to give us a pilot, give us a helicopter. Mr. Rao, R.M. Rao, who shot this film as well, shot it handheld, hanging out of the helicopter window. And it was a shot which is once in a lifetime. I don't think many people have aerial shots of the Taj Mahal. We shot elephants around Lake Periyar. And while we were just packing up for lunch, a mahout passed by riding an elephant. So we caught him, stopped him in his tracks. He was not a very educated guy, but he understood the music. He heard the song that we played back to him, and he did a little jig on his elephant and sang it for us. And I loved that shot because he was so natural. So in many of the states, we had just regular people. Sometimes magic just happens. Everything falls into place beautifully. Like in this case, as long as you have an end purpose in mind to create an emotional response, to make people feel, and you work with that sincerity right through making the film, Providence will be on your side. Aarti, my wife, had made all these hundreds of tracksuits in the flag colors. We took them down to Sanar, to St. Lawrence School, and shot it there with the kids. Is again the immense emotional response it gets till today. I mean, even young people who see it for the first time, who never saw it on Doordarshan, who never saw it in the theatres those days, they still respond to it so beautifully. People absolutely love it. They love it with their hearts. Today, this film is considered the second national anthem of India.
मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा सुर की नदियाँ हर दिशा से बह के सागर में मिले बादलों का रूप लेकर बरसे हल्के हल्के मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा
चैन तरज थई म्यान तरज इकवट बनिए सान तरज
तेरा सुर मिले मेरे सुर दे नाल मिलके बने एक नवा सुर ताल मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा
मुंहिंजो सुर तुंहिंजे सां प्यारा मिले जॾहिं गीत असां जो मधुर तरानो बणे तॾहिं
सुर का दरिया बह के सागर में मिले
बदला दा रूप लखे
बरसन होले होले
இசைந்தா நம் இருவரும் சுரமும் நமதாகும் திசை வேறானாலும் ஆழிசேர் ஆறுகள் முகிலாய் மழையாய் பொழிவது போல் இசை நம் இசை
నన్నదనిగే నిన్నదనియా
తీరిదంతే నమ్మదనియా
నా స్వరము నీ స్వరము സംഗമമൈ മനസ്വരംഗാ അവതരിഞ്ചി എന്റെ സ്വരവും നിങ്ങളുടെ സ്വരവും ഒത്തുചേർന്നു നമ്മുടെ സ്വരമായി
তোমার সুর মোদের সুর
সৃষ্টি করু কই কসুর তোমার সুর মোদের সুর সৃষ্টি করু কই কসুর সৃষ্টি হোক ওই কোতান तुम मोरा स्वरर मिलन सृष्टि कर
କରି ଚାଲୁ ଐକ୍ୟତାନ
મળે સૂર જો તારો મારો બને આપણો સૂર નિરાળો माझ्या तुमच्या जुळता तारा मधुर सुरांच्या बरसती धारा सुर की नदियाँ हर दिशा से बहके सागर में मिले बादलों का रूप लेके बरसे हल्के